and blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, his skene, S-K-E-N-E. S-K-E-N-E. It comes from skuos, S-K-E-U-O-S. Skuos means a wife as useful to her husband. We're the tabernacle, we're the wife. He's going to make war with the wife for 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto the beast to make war with the saints for 42 months, 3.5 years. And to overcome them, and power was given to him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. And the only ones that will worship him were those whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So we won't worship him. Only those people that are seeking after some world peace. Why would an entire world worship a man if he's evil looking? He's not going to be evil looking. He's going to look very, 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 very good. He's going to look like the nicest guy that's ever come along in the history of the world. That's just kind of why I back off and look at Mr. Obama going, I wonder who you are. I don't know. I'm not saying that the other presidents are any more righteous. Do I believe any of them know God? No, I don't believe that. Don't believe Ronald Reagan claimed to be a Christian and he cussed and he drank and, just didn't cuss much, just didn't tell too many dirty jokes, just once in a while, and he'd drink a cocktail from here time to time and dress up in his fancy clothes and called himself a Christian. Jimmy Carter calls himself a Christian. The guy calls himself a Baptist Sunday school teacher. He don't know nothing. Ignorant. So they will wonder whose names are not written in the book of life, the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Now that's war for 42 months, isn't it? Well, let's go back over here to 2 Thessalonians. In fact, let me give you a couple other places I can get back to this. What I want to do is give you the various places about this 3.5 year point. Now here's what this man is going to do. He is going to cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. Look at that one more time. When the Bible speaks of the abomination of desolation as spoken of by Daniel the prophet, he's talking about several things in the book of Daniel. Go back to Daniel 7. Sometimes, and I approach this from so many angles, I hope somebody said, I've heard you preach on that before, but you keep on bringing out different things in it. I learn new things each time you say something about it. Now, it's speaking about this world system that's going to war against the church. In verse 24, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, or it shall subdue 3 kings. This is the Roman system subduing the first 3 kingdoms, which is Babylon, Persia, Greece. And this is Rome here. And it, or he, shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Wear out is the word Bela. It means to afflict, mentally or physically. Bela, B-E-L-A. He'll afflict the church. The church is going to go under persecution. There's no such thing as a pre-trib rapture. We're going to be changed at the last trump. And that sounds at the end of time. 7 trumpets in Revelation 8, 9, and 10. And after the tribulation of those days, the Lord will send his angels with the great sound of trumpet. Matthew 24, starting in verse 29. Now, look back over here. Let's go back to Daniel 9. On the way over, you can see during the end of this kingdom, in chapter 8, in verse 23, in the latter time of their kingdom, chapter 8, verse 23 of Daniel, in the latter time of their kingdom, speaking of Babylon, Persia, Greece, the latter time of their kingdom would be at the end of time, when the transgressors are come to the full. When transgression has just gotten as bad as it can get, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. A man is going to rise up at the end of time in the latter part of their kingdom, and he's going to rise up and he's going to claim to have the understanding of Kedah, or puzzling questions. The most puzzling question we got today is the economy, isn't it? That is famine. We're on the verge of world famine. Go to India and you'll see that. Go to China, you'll see that. Go to Mexico, you'll see that. Yep, that's right. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And that's the church, isn't it? At the end of time. And through his policy, or his sekel, S-E-K-E-L, his intelligence. He's going to be a smart man. Through his intelligence, he shall cause craft, mirmah, M-I-R-M-A-H, deception, to prosper. He's going to be able to lie and get by with it, telling people, I've got the answers to the problems, the economy, the war, through all of this. Good grief, we're talking about that right now in every newscast there is. Aren't we? They weren't talking about this in 1955 when I was a teenager. They weren't talking about this in 1969 when I was 30 years old. They weren't talking about this in 1979 when I went in real estate. They weren't even talking about this in 1995. They're talking about it today, about America collapsing. It's not just America collapsing, it is all the nations of the world are on economic decline, and they're all shaking and about to collapse. They're looking for a man that can not only help America, but can help the world. And he's going to sell them something. I'm reading to you out of a Bible that was written thousands of years ago about problems that we are facing right now in the world. National and international economic problems on the verge of famine. Right now we're facing it. I turn on the news every day looking and waiting. Don't y'all do that? I know Gerald does that all the time. He's saying, did you see this over there? Have you seen this? Have you watched such and such? And I'm constantly looking. I've never been this interested in the news in my life. I've always been interested in the news, but not this much. He'll cause craft to prosper, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes. How is he going to stand up against the prince of princes, that being Christ? He's just simply going to stand against his word and stand against the church. Isn't he? He's not going to stand against the church breathing fire. He's going to say, now, we've got some problems here in the world. And you bunch of isolationist Christians over there at that Grace and Truth Ministries, we're trying to feed a world of people. We're trying to do an honorable thing and a thing before God to take care of the world. And you're over there causing trouble in your little corner of the world. You can either stop that or we'll put you in jail, and we'll do an honorable thing, and we'll honor God by stopping you from not tolerating other people with their religions. We're all going to get along. And we're all going to get fed, and we're all going to be taken care of, and we're going to have a world religion, and we're going to have a world order, and we're going to have a world peace, and have a one world government, and a one world currency system, and we're all going to get along, and we'll have us one leader. Yeah, whether you like it or not. And they'll be thinking, when they kill us, they'll think they do God's service there in John 16. They'll think they're doing some righteous thing when they kill us.
Where at in John 16?
16:1, I believe it is. 16:2. Yeah. 16. Yeah, verse 2. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God's service. And the word service is the word latruo. It means to serve God. They're going to think they're serving God when they kill us. Well, how are they going to be thinking they're serving God? Because they're going to have a Jesus too. They're going to have a Jehovah too. But it'll be another Jesus. It'll be another gospel. It'll be another spirit, won't it? That's what it'll be. Now, let's go back over here to 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians. I'm using this kind of a springboard to show you throughout the Scriptures. Well, one other place we need to read about the coming of the Lord. Now, of course, 1 Corinthians 15:51, I won't turn there. Behold, I'll show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. Not at a pre-trib rapture, at last trump. Eschatos, E-S-C-H-A-T-O-S. Eschatos comes from the word echo. Echo means to hold. An echo is holding a sound, hold, and it'll be the last after which no other trumpet will sound. And there's 7 trumpets in Revelation 8, 9, and 10. And when the 7th one sounds, the mystery of God of the church is finished and complete, and Christ has got one foot of the land, other than the sea, and says, time is no more. We're going to be changed at the last trump. The church is going to be here to go through those last 3.5 years. It may not be in my lifetime, and it might be. I'll tell you what, I believe it's going to be in the lifetimes of people younger than me. I hate to see my grandsons have to grow up in that. That's when I want to start teaching them the truth all the time. I don't want them to grow up without God in their hearts. We need to start teaching them as early as we can. You look here in 1 Thessalonians 4. Here's the coming. Here's the coming. Verse 13. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep. Asleep was a term for believers who had died in Christ. The bodies are asleep in a grave. Their spirits are with the Lord. To be absent with the body is to be present with the Lord. There in the 5th chapter of 2 Corinthians. That you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. He says, don't get involved in excessive sorrowing when you lose a loved one. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. Will God bring with him? I think he's talking about Jesus coming back, isn't it? So that makes Jesus God, doesn't it? For this we say unto you, by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the parousia, the coming of the Lord. So this is the same thing he's talking about. As the lightning shines from the east to the west, so shall also the coming, the parousia of the Lord be, right? So shall also the parousia. Let me erase some of this. Huh?
Thank you.
Well, somebody tell me to do that. Say, get that stuff off the board. Y'all have to tell me. I need somebody to be a board eraser. Next time somebody run up here and start erasing it, okay? I want a board that I can flip. I want one that I can go, shoot, and there it is. So I can back away and just flip it over. Okay. Parousia. P-A-P-A-R-O-U-S-I-A. Physical arrival. Jesus said, my physical arrival will be as the lightning shines from the east to the west, and I'm not having a private audience with anybody. I'm not